Help me hit 6,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I never thought a single sentence could rearrange everything I believed about someone I loved. But that's exactly what happened on a quiet Thursday afternoon. One of those days that starts off so normal, you'd never guess it's about to change your life. My name is Callum, I'm 34, and for 3 years I'd been with someone I genuinely believed was my person. Her name was Marin, a name I always thought sounded like something soft, something gentle. She had that kind of presence too, warm, bright, the type of woman who could walk into a room and instantly shift the atmosphere without even trying. I'd loved that about her. I'd loved a lot of things about her, more than I ever said out loud. But sometimes love blinds you in ways you don't recognize until the moment it unravels. That day, I stopped by the small cafe near her office to pick up her favorite vanilla cold brew. She'd had a rough week, and I wanted to surprise her. It wasn't a grand gesture, just something simple that I hoped would make her smile. I'd done things like that for her often. It wasn't about being convenient or trying too hard. It was just us. The cafe was loud, kind of crowded, filled with the usual after-lunch chatter of coworkers unwinding. I spotted Marin before she saw me. She was at a corner table, laughing with 2 coworkers from her department. I recognized one of them, Isla, the woman who always smiled politely but never warmly. The second was a new guy I'd never seen before. I don't know what made me pause instead of calling out to her. Maybe it was the way she was leaning forward, twirling a strand of her hair the way she did when she wanted to appear more charming. Or maybe it was her laugh, lighter, more flirtatious than the laugh she usually had with me. Whatever it was, something held me still. Then Isla asked her something I couldn't entirely hear, but Marin's reply was unmistakably clear. Clear enough to slice right through the noise around me. Clear enough to burn itself into my memory. "Oh, I'm basically single," she said with a shrug. "Callum's just convenient. He's good company, he's stable, and honestly, he's nice enough, but he's not someone I see a real future with." The words dropped casually out of her mouth like they meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. And the worst part? She didn't know I was standing just behind the divider wall, holding a drink I'd gone out of my way to bring her. I must have stood frozen for 10 seconds straight, my heartbeat suddenly too loud, too heavy. Every laugh from their table felt like it echoed directly inside my chest. Convenient, nice enough, not a real future. She said it so effortlessly, like she was describing a subscription service she might cancel if something better came along. I didn't walk away right then. Couldn't. I kept thinking maybe I misheard her. Maybe she meant something else. Maybe she was joking and her coworkers would react with disbelief or correction. But Isla just nodded, and the guy smirked like he'd expected as much. That was the moment something shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet, sinking clarity. I stepped back before she could see me. Not out of fear. I just suddenly understood that the conversation she had with me at home, the soft promises, the little reassurances, the way she told me I was steady and good for her, those weren't compliments. They were placeholders. Words she used to keep the peace while her heart wandered somewhere else. I walked out of the cafe and sat in my car for almost 20 minutes without starting the engine. The drink warmed in my hand as the ice melted, but I barely noticed. I just kept replaying her voice. Light, casual, dismissive. Like I was furniture she appreciated having but wouldn't take with her if she ever moved houses. The thing about being convenient is that you never realize you're being treated that way until the person finally says it out loud. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. The equation changes. The story shifts. By the time I finally drove home, I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was quiet, too quiet probably. Because when something inside you breaks softly instead of loudly, it leaves a different kind of bruise. When Marin got home later that evening, she came in smiling, kissed my cheek, and tossed her bag on the counter like nothing unusual had happened at all. And for the first time in our 3 years together, I realized something I'd been avoiding for far too long. I didn't really know the version of her she showed the world. And she didn't really value the version of me I'd given her. That night, things started to unravel in a way neither of us could pretend away anymore. Marin didn't notice the shift in me right away. She moved around the apartment humming softly, kicking off her shoes, checking her phone. Living in the same space as me but not really with me. I watched her for a moment, trying to reconcile the woman in front of me with the one at the cafe who'd said she was basically single. It was strange how normal she seemed, almost comforting, in a bittersweet way. But once you hear the truth, your mind starts rearranging memories like puzzle pieces suddenly showing a different picture. Every small moment of distance, every time she'd brushed off my questions, every "I'm busy and maybe later," they all landed differently now. She finally noticed my silence when she walked into the living room and saw me sitting on the edge of the couch, hands clasped, staring at the floor. "Cal?" she said, using the nickname she always used when she wanted gentleness from me. "Everything okay? You look off." Her voice sounded tender, maybe even concerned. But I no longer trusted that kind of softness from her. Not after hearing how temporary she sounded when she talked about me to the people who mattered in her day-to-day life. "I stopped by your cafe today," I said quietly. Her brows lifted. "You did? Ah, that's sweet. Did you try calling? I must have missed it." I shook my head. "I didn't call." Something in my tone must have tipped her off. She shifted her weight, the air between us tightening. "I saw you," I continued, "sitting with Isla and that new guy. I was about to come over, but then I heard something." Her shoulders stiffened. Her smile faded. And for a brief second, her eyes flickered with something sharp. Panic. Maybe. Recognition. "What did you hear?" she asked, though I think she already knew. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I didn't even sigh. I just said it exactly as she said it. "You told them you're basically single, that I'm convenient, nice enough, not someone you see a real future with." Silence. Thick and immediate. She didn't deny it. Not at first. She just froze, lips parted, breath caught in her throat like she'd been caught standing somewhere she shouldn't be. "Callum," she finally whispered. "That was taken out of context." "It was your voice," I said. "My ears. No context needed." She took a step toward me, hands raised slightly like she wanted to soften the blow with touch. But I leaned back before she could reach me, and that tiny movement landed harder than any argument could have. "Cal, I didn't mean it like that," she insisted. "We were joking. You know how office conversations get. People exaggerate. I shouldn't have said it, okay? I'm sorry." But apologies felt weightless against the truth she'd spoken so easily when she thought I wasn't listening. "What part was the joke?" I asked softly. "That you're basically single? Or that I'm convenient?" Her eyes glistened, not fully tearing up, just that glossy kind of panic that comes when someone realizes their image is slipping. "You're twisting this," she said. "You know how Isla is." She was asking questions. I didn't want to sound clingy or overly serious. I just said things to keep the conversation light. I almost laughed at that. Like, calling your partner convenient is many things, but light isn't one of them. "You know what the worst part is?" I said. "It wasn't the words. It was how easy they came out. Like you've thought them before." This time she didn't respond. Her silence told the truth she wouldn't say aloud. A long moment passed before I stood up. Not to storm out. Not to dramatically pack a bag. I just stood, and something inside me settled. "I've always treated you like you mattered," I said. "Not because it was convenient, but because it was real for me. If that's not what you want, or if that's not enough, you could have just told me." "I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered. "That," I said quietly, "is exactly what people say right after they already did." She sat down then, face in her hands, finally realizing what her words had cost her. But I felt strangely calm. Not numb, just clear in a way I hadn't been in months. "I'm not breaking up with you right this second," I said. "But I'm stepping back. I need to think. I need to figure out if I want to keep building a future with someone who doesn't even admit we have one." "Callum, please," she tried, standing again, reaching for my arm. I stepped out of reach. "For once," I told her, "I'm choosing myself." The apartment felt different after that. Still, quiet, honest. Marin kept trying to talk, to explain, to fix things with words that no longer held weight. But some clarity doesn't fade once you hear it spoken out loud. She told her coworkers she was basically single. So for the first time since I'd met her, I gave her exactly what she said she already felt. Space. Not out of spite, not out of anger, but because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop holding on to someone who only grips you when it's convenient. And as strange as it sounds, that truth felt like the first real future I'd chosen for myself in a long, long time.